go.
Love that.
Oh, also, I love how you're opening this. You don't even know what it is.
Nah, you put some little green shit in front of me. I'm like, cool, yeah.
Just basically came from the ground. It's called Magic Mind. It's a productivity shot, as they call it.
Wow.
It's actually really good. It boosts energy and focus. It crushes procrastination, although I still procrastinate when I drink this sometimes. So I don't know. That might be false label, but it's a great company, and they keep sending me these, so I keep sharing them.
Love that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. It's good stuff. Bottoms up. Cheers, dude.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah. It's an acquired taste. I like it.
Not bad. It's like it's a journey.
It tastes very earthy.
Well, yeah, it's like up front it was kind of sweet, and then it was earthy, and then it has this like kind of familiar taste in the back end. It was a journey.
Somebody described it, I think it was Frequent on the podcast, as it tasting like organic shampoo.
You know?
I actually can't untaste that now.
Yeah. Some sort of organic cleaning material. It's really good though. It cleans on the inside, huh?
Yeah, dude. If you could just drink or eat cleaner at home and it was good for you, like why not?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
Great.
Just didn't die.
Yeah,
outright die. Yeah, just clean and drinking bleach. Just like, okay, let's get these insides nice.
Don't try this at home, kids. Don't try this at home. But dude, good to have you on the podcast. Thanks for sharing your new pen. We should shout out the new things you're doing. You've got a lot going on right now.
There are some things happening, yeah. We could talk about the pen first. Shout out to Dispensary Exit 243. Quite literally exit 243 on your way out to Idaho Springs.
Nice.
Gorgeous little dispensary on a hill. When you come off the exit, you'll see it. There's no missing it. Yeah, we'll be dropping our line of cartridges next month, crossing our fingers on a specific launch date. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're still trying to tackle the exact name, tossing a couple ideas around. Yeah, but I'm excited.
When is that dropping? Is there like a date?
We're trying March 14th. But we're still trying to get the place to hold the event. We want to do a launch event / like a performance, showcase some of this new music as well.
Nice.
Shooting for the 14th. I believe it's a Thursday, but
dude, I don't even know what today is. I think today is a Friday, maybe. Right. That's sick, though, man. Congratulations. That's really cool.
You, man.
And you're working on a new album. It's
Correct.
Your first album, right? Under your name,
the Parisian. Yeah, I've worked or recorded under a bunch of different projects. Never recorded an album of my own. I've got a single out now. I had another single out, but I took it down. I had some weird issues with this distribution company. Not to like shit talk, but
it wasn't DistroKid, was it?
Nah, it was this. I mean, yeah, just had a bad issue with trying to get this music out properly. And so
I don't understand that. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you
off. No, you're fine.
It's like this is like 2024. Like distribution should be the most automated and streamlined at this point.
Well, it's not. It is. There are many ways to easily distribute your music, but there's not many ways to get that music heard above other things. You know what I mean? I don't know how many singles are being uploaded to distribution companies a day.
Yeah,
you know, so it's like if you're just uploading your music on your own, it's an uphill battle that I don't really see any benefits in. I mean, unless you're like a Chance the Rapper. You're dropping shit independently and it's getting massive plays.
Yeah.
But even he kind of stopped doing that. But I just feel like to release music properly, you need the help of a label or a distribution company, someone that knows someone at Spotify or Apple Music that can just get your music on these playlists that have millions of followers. And, you know, there's a method to doing it, which is getting onto some specific playlists. And it's kind of hard to do that independently. I feel like a bunch of labels are pushing different artists. I don't really know how it works. If I could do it by myself, I would love to just do it by myself. But.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there could be a lot involved. It definitely helps to know people who can put you on these curated playlists and get those streams.
Exactly. So that's what I'm hoping for when it comes to releasing this upcoming music.
That's cool, man. You've already showed me some of it, and it slaps. It's really, really good.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely like a chill hop. I don't want to lump it into that genre. Like I feel like it's definitely.
I don't even know what to call it. I'm just making shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what are genres anymore, really?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm just after the Dilla show, I came home like literally that night. I already had 5 tracks for this EP to release, and I came home from the Dilla show and was just so inspired and
For people listening, this is the Jay Dilla tribute show that you played.
Correct.
Yes.
I did a Dilla tribute at Ophelia's on the 1st of February.
Yeah, and it was dope. I was there.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Every time I can do a Dilla tribute, I will always do a Dilla tribute. Yeah, I mean, if you catch the next one next year, or who knows, maybe I'll try to bring the Dilla tribute out more than once a year.
Yeah, I think people would show up for it.
Yeah, we'll try to do that.
And there's a killer crew too playing with you.
Oh yeah, Borum. Yeah, shout out Borum. Shout out Will Gaines.
Yep.
Shout out Isaac.
Isaac from Talk.
Yeah. Isaac, the OG. Yeah. My boy.
Yeah, he's a killer drummer.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a drummer, so I appreciate him.
I mean, he absolutely slaps. We have a side project together called the Tomorrow People. Yeah, he's the first musician in Denver. When I wanted to put my project together, that I was like, all right, well, I at least need this man to be a part of. I need consistent, just amazing musicianship. It's not even the drums. This man is a fantastic vocalist.
Yeah.
This man is a great musician. In general, has a great ear for all music. So, yeah, that's my man. It's my right-hand man.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's easier to like be comfortable on stage and really express yourself when you know that everybody around you is like not gonna mess up.
Yeah. Well, or just like everybody cares about the music as much as I do.
Yeah,
you know, that's
exactly.
the biggest thing. Is like, I'm gonna hire these people. We're gonna go up here. We have a rehearsal for a couple hours the day before.
Yeah,
and yeah, just to make sure everyone understands entrances and endings, and because with the Dilla samples especially, I was trying to tease some of the earlier pieces of the songs that he sampled so you can kind of see where the sample lies in the song, I guess.
Yeah.
Just working with great musicians like that and trying to execute and pay tribute to such a crazy artist is always great. And having people that care about the music as much as I do is all you can ask for.
Man, for sure. You did plug in Ableton Live right now. Is this something on the new EP that you have coming out?
This is. So I've like secretly been teasing this track in my latest couple videos. It's not really done. It ends very abruptly. I haven't figured out how I really want to end the song or start it. But yeah, this is a track that I currently I'm actually going to call it Take Your Time. So the melody that the trumpets are playing, I'm eventually going to put lyrics to. And the only lyric that I can keep hearing during the chorus is "Take your time," and I'm a big advocate of taking your time.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get me to rush for shit. Anyone that really knows me, like, you can't get me to rush at all. You couldn't get me to rush if you tried. So,
yeah, you took your time getting to the podcast episode, which actually really worked out because I was troubleshooting stuff.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm gonna end up calling this track "Take Your Time." But yeah, I give it a little play. Should we play through the whole track and then?
Go for it, dude. Yeah. sick. I love that. That was nice.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, that was really nice.
I'm experimenting with like shorter song length just to
Me
get
too.
more plays, I guess. I don't know.
Why am I going to spend all this extra time writing like a longer song when I'm not going to DJ the whole thing?
Exactly.
If I do play it live and
Right.
or like streaming, like if people see how long you stream or the algorithm on Spotify, if it's shorter, like
More plays.
more plays.
In my opinion, yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But there's also times where you just want like a longer track. Like if you're doing
Correct.
a jam for a band or something, you know, there's a
Yeah.
place too.
Well, I mean, I've played in several different bands where like the live or the recorded album track is just like the live track, which is a full ass composition with a solo in the middle. It goes back to this thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe I'll do that live, but for like the studio version,
Well, you
let's
could
just
even
make it
you
short
could
and
even
sweet.
copy and paste this and like mute stuff for live performance with your band and just jam or on a riff for like you know 16 bars, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. That's with my live sets. I love bouncing all of these different channels down, and then I can strip back different elements or play along with like if I want the shakers or any of the percussions and things like that. Yeah, that was kind of my big reason into getting into Ableton, is to add the production from the studio to the live setting. Essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I spent time working with Laura Escudé. I know I've talked about her on the podcast a lot, but she's like the queen of like live performance playback tech in Ableton. She's taught me a lot about that world. But yeah, maybe go through the project, like show us a couple things.
Yeah, I mean, so normally I start with some sort of chord progression, which is down here. But yeah, everything's broken down where it's usually 3 or 4 major groups, the drum group being the top group. I have triggers for the kick and the snare turned off.
Can you click on that real quick? I just want to nerd
What?
out for a hot second
This?
on the kick.
Yeah.
Also, you're like me where like you get lazy, you have a trigger as a kick, but you got a full drum rack.
Yep. I'm just like, bam, I'm dropping the whole thing in. Fuck it. Yeah.
I know. I go back later. I was like, why are my files so big? And then I'm like, oh, Dan, you got a big drum rack you don't need.
Exactly. No, it's the same thing for my snare. Exactly.
I had to call you out. Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought that was
please.
funny. One thing I've like learned and I like to do is like I have like a specific click trigger that I always use. It's usually just like a snap that has no sustain at all, like really short. So if you like go to the kick real quick, this is something maybe that you might try because it gives you more control over the side chaining on the compressor with the release time. So you could really tighten that because right now the kick is a 606, which has a long sustain.
Right.
Which means that once that long sustain finishes, then the compressor side chain is going to kick in. So if you have a really, really short click sound for your kick trigger or snare trigger, then you can, I usually set like 0.01 milliseconds, whatever, on the compressor for the side chain. And then you can really dial in that release time to exactly the speed of the track or what you want with the relationship with the bass.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like, I mean, you could even use that, but like just even take the end, like...
Cut the end off.
Yeah, exactly. Pull all the way up there
to like until I start to see the wobble or whatever.
Like even
closer.
Way closer.
Really?
Yeah, like all the way to the end. Like keep going. Usually I do some, and there's no
like this.
Even shorter. There's nothing. Well, because really all it is you just want to.
It's just sending that signal. That's
all.
Signal. No, of course,
want a
of
signal.
course.
But honestly, dude, there's no rules. You know, live your life. That's how I feel. You know, like it's Ableton. It's creativity. Mr. Bill had like a couple good alternatives as well for like side chain triggering and stuff. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Duck Buddy by Slink, I think he just updated it, so it's like working better now. It's made for that.
Duck by
Duck is another one.
Devious Machines. I mean, there's a lot of different programs that sidechain.
Kickstart 2 is sometimes I'll use that. It's real cheap too. I think it's like $20 or something. Oh, I like that though. That looks. I like the interface.
Yeah, same. Carnes. I mean, all the programs that I bought, Chris Carnes told me to buy.
Shout out to Chris Carnes. Join the podcast, Chris. Let's hang out, dude. Let's talk.
I'll come back on, Carnes. We'll do it together. Big shout out to Chris Carnes. He's taught me more about Ableton than anyone else.
This episode is sponsored by Baby Audio. They create all kinds of cool instruments and effects plugins. They have a new release called Atoms, which is out now. Atoms is a new kind of synth plugin that uses cutting-edge physical modeling to generate an endless variety of organic and otherworldly sounds. It's a really cool synth. They also make some other really dope plugins. Highly recommend checking them out. Just go to babyaud.io to learn more and save 15% off any order that you may code AMP15. That's AMP15, all capital letters. Also, check out a link in the show notes of this episode for more details. Go check out Baby Audio. They make cool stuff.
So you route this to your kick trigger or snare trigger?
Yep, exactly. Depending on, and then they're routed down here, and then drum group, all of my drum sounds. Then everything that is not a drum sound is added to the no drums group, and then after I always have the bass the first thing in the no drums group, because then after that I have a no bass group. So I can just EQ everything out of the way of the bass once I find where the meat is, basically.
Yeah.
Which is that. And then, all of my keyboard sounds and auxiliary sounds and things will go in that group. And then I've got 3 different trumpet groups. There's like a overarching trumpet melody, background horns, intro background 1, then background stabs, background pads.
A lot of backgrounds.
I like to layer trumpets more than anything.
No, for sure. I mean, you're a sick trumpet player too.
Appreciate you.
If people listening haven't seen you, I hope to catch another show, especially with the new album release. This is a hot track, man.
I appreciate you.
I really like it. And then on the master, what was that plugin that you were talking about? The God one?
The God particle.
The God particle.
Yeah, I had to turn it off because it's a beefy boy, but
I've heard about it. I just haven't played with it. Wow, that's a big amount. You got the 150%.
Yeah, this is how big the... Oh, yeah. So, bro, it goes to 200. I'm like, that's aggressive. What's the point of having 100 if there's a 200? But so I used to keep this amount at 100 and just experimenting on my own and how different things sound and watching some videos of a bunch of different producers that use it. I decided to mess around in between 100 and 200. Cool. Found a sweet spot of 150. And then, all these different parameters kind of show you how beefy your track should be, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how this thing works, but it's a mastering.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I'm looking at it right now. It's like $120. It looks like it was developed by mastering engineer Jason Joshua. He's worked with a lot of legit artists.
And apparently it's going to have a preset setting in here where a bunch of different other producers presets within this program you can use. I'm not exactly sure how that's.
It doesn't really have much information of what it's really doing on their website that I can find right now.
It's hard. And if I were to turn it on and play a track, it would make the thing so much louder. So it's hard to kind of describe.
Looks like it's kind of a blend of an EQ and maybe compressor for sure, limiter built in type of thing.
Yeah. It's gorgeous when it's running too. It's I could maybe mute the channel and show you. I don't know. It's a really pretty program. It looks like Deep Space or some shit when it's running.
I've really enjoyed Golfos EQ. They have different plugins in our Golfos. There's a master one that I like for master EQ. It's the most subtle thing ever. It's extremely subtle. But if you just need your mix a little brighter or just a little tighter, I find it's a nice little sweetener, on top kind of thing.
This adds so much breath and beef to your shit. I don't really understand it, but what I've understood between my tracks with it on and without it on
makes a big difference.
Huge difference. And I'm sitting here mixing everything to make sure that my master channel isn't peaking or anything like that, When I use the God particle on a track, play my song and then back to back it with a song on Spotify. So it brings things up to this industry standard volume, and then it has all of these kind of,
I've been trying to do more mastering just with stock Ableton stuff. I've had some really fun results lately. Using OTT on my master.
Yeah, I haven't used that. I use that on my trumpets.
I use a couple different OTTs.
Really?
On my master now. Yeah, my buddy sent me one of his mastering racks, and Rents, shout out to my homie Rents. Dude, he's a great sound designer. He's really good, but you just basically pull the input levels all the way down. I wish I could share my screen because you're running. So if you go to down bottom right, there's a TBA. That's the ratios and thresholds. But yeah, and then I'll usually play with the low frequency crossover and the split frequencies on the left. Yeah, if you click that, you can drag it to maybe 120 or something. And so that way everything below 120 is going to get a little bit of a hug, or it's going to be And then I'll adjust the highs based off how bright I want it and stuff, and then dial in the amount overall with a global wet. I find a way to like kind of just give it a little warm hug, and then I'll also use like a glue compressor with the slowest attack and the fastest release, and then just a bunch of EQ and limiting after that. Maybe
fastest attack, slowest release.
I usually put that first in my chain. Yeah, the slowest attack, fastest release, and then I'll just pull down the threshold and I'll like give it a -1 or 2 dB, just so it's like barely tapping that threshold. So like it's just bumping just a little bit of a hug. And and then I'll just do a bunch of EQ and limiting. That's pretty much my mastering chain now. Because that's the thing is like, I'm trying to get better at mixing, because mastering is really just like the final little tweaks.
Of course.
Like, so there's always a billion ways to do stuff, but I find that's kind of how I start with that. And then I can turn the makeup gain. And I don't even use a limiter a lot of times anymore.
The makeup, yeah.
I'm just slamming stuff red into and it sounds good, dude.
Oh, wow.
If you bounce it and it's clipping, like there's a clipper built into the output stage of Ableton. Wow. So it'll actually chop off those peaks.
Carnes has been mixing things louder. He says his...
Yeah. I don't even use like peak limiting anymore. Like I just...
Interesting. I'm always just trying to touch that bar.
Yeah.
Like, green. I'm not trying to go over the...
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like it's clipping it basically. So at some point, like it's not going to go past 0. If you want it loud,
especially with the glue compressor, of course.
Yeah, I think it just sounds good.
I have glue compressors on each individual channel. Like my drum. Oh, yeah, like there we go. Yeah. My drums have one. Everything is like mixed very wild, but.
But your track sounded good. I hope you don't think I'm just like.
No, not at all. I take all the advice. I'm like, mastering chain is something. The least I know about.
There's a lot to learn still that I'm learning. We're all learning until we die.
Mixing, I feel pretty solid on how I mix things. Yeah. I pretty much mix everything the exact same. Yeah. I follow the same kind of visual guides on volumes and.
It's a cool track, man.
Appreciate you.
So what is the Parisian lineup going to look like? Like
live?
Yeah, like for your live stuff.
Yeah,
you're
4-piece, hopefully.
Right?
Yeah, of course. One day I would love to have hella horns on stage.
Yeah, just a symphony.
Yeah, honestly.
Let's go.
But I guess realistic, 4-piece. Myself, a bass player, keys, and a drummer.
Okay. That'd be tight.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. The Parisian troupe is what I call it. So TPT is my shorthand for trumpet in Ableton. And that has expanded to like, I should use those initials for like a group or something. And I'm like, the Parisian. And I'm like, what's a thing? It starts with a T. And I Googled hella shit. And the only thing that made the most sense to me was just call it a troupe. So I was like, all right, the Parisian's troupe, Like,
let's go.
Yeah, I want to use TPT because that's just my shorthand for trumpet. Yeah,
hey, troupe is cool.
Yeah, troops are lit. Troops are lit. Yeah. The Parisian troupe is lit at least.
Assemble the troops. Let's go.
And there's some hard hitting motherfuckers. So.
And who are those people again?
Currently Will Gaines, Isaac Teal, and Borum Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to, lock those boys down as much as I can, but each one of them are so busy with their own projects.
They're in a lot of projects.
Yeah, Isaac being in Talk, and he leads his own shit. Borum leading his own shit, Break Science, and the Pretty Lights gang. And then...
Derek's going hardcore now these days.
Yeah, correct.
He's playing a lot.
Good, man. Yeah, that hiatus was dope for him and for a bunch of people, and some time off was really needed. Yeah, I feel like it's time for the music to hit back, and the boys have been absolutely crushing. I haven't seen one of the new shows. I actually sat in with them before the hiatus.
Pretty Lights?
Yeah, down in New Orleans. Like I did this second line following Derek on the back of this truck.
How long ago was that?
Man, this was like 2015 or 16.
Because he went to New Orleans and he worked on an album with a bunch of different...
there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Not to like put his info out there.
I thought he lived here in Colorado.
Nah, yeah.
Here's his address. Yeah. Just write that down.
I'm like, not to blast him, man. Shit.
Yeah, on Drury Lane, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so we did this like second line where we started at like Kermit Ruffin's club or something like that. And yeah, Derek was set up on the back of this like truck, big ass speakers, and was like DJing. He had hella horns following him on the truck. And it ended up being under this bridge complex, this massive bridge, and like, yeah, and then we met the band, which was on stage, and then the kind of horns bounced. But yeah, I sat in with Derek in the squad at one point.
That's tight. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That sounds like a
Long-winded
good time.
story, but
that was probably like right after his Color Map of the Sun album, maybe.
I'm not exactly sure. To be completely honest, I'm not as up to date with his music as I should be.
I'm not either, honestly. I used to listen to him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that I know that knows him very well, like closely, regards this man as an absolute genius. And the people that say this, I regard as geniuses.
Yeah.
I swear, you know, it's like Carnes, Deitch, all of his bandmates are like, this man is a genius. Like,
He's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, and is a game changer too. Yeah, so.
And an innovator, man. Like,
exactly.
He takes a lot of risks with his music, which I really respect, especially in the live performance with his new setup. He's taken like full tracks, mixing it live while improvising with a band, and he's controlling like the main output mix that everybody's hearing on a mixer with like, I think he's using Tractor or something, and like throwing a bunch of stuff in there and mixing the live band together, which is really cool, man. Like that's definitely not the safest way to do it.
No, but apparently it's effective.
Yeah, and it's real. And it's new.
Yes, exactly.
It's new every time.
Exactly,
so you never get the same thing. And it's like, how many artists have you went to see where you heard the same thing over and over, you know?
It's pretty normal.
And so it's pretty cool that like you go to see a show, you go see it a week later, it's going to be a different experience.
Right.
That's really cool.
Right. I mean, I aspire to that, to put on a live performance that is new every time and that people will flock to come see, you know?
Yeah. They will. Yeah. They will.
We're hoping.
Well, you've definitely got a lot of experience, like with Harry, like playing with Harry Styles. And
yeah.
Done a lot of touring and shows with him.
A lot,
dude. He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He seems pretty cool.
Absolutely. Super down to earth. Shout out to the boy. Just turned 30.
Oh, dude, he's young.
Yeah,
his
young
whole
man.
life ahead of him.
I know. Yeah, a ton of touring. Yeah, broke a bunch of records. Did a bunch of shit I never, ever expected to be a part of. So yeah, huge shout outs to the kid for and his team for bringing me along and allowing me to be a part of a bunch of history, a shit ton of history. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's like broke a lot of records. It seems like Madison Square.
Yeah.
Sold out like 15 nights of residency or something.
Exactly. So yeah,
That's
he
wild.
had. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they announced 10 shows I think originally, and those sold out immediately. So I think they added 5 more, and those also sold out. They probably could have kept going, but we had some other places to get to. I think I don't exactly know, not to like speak for tour.
We're getting tired of selling out this venue every night, so we're just gonna do something else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, we ended up breaking a record at MSG.
It's cool, man.
I will be a part of a banner that will sit in MSG forever, hopefully.
That's beautiful.
It is, man. It's, I mean, it made me cry. I genuinely cried when they put the banner up, just to think of, I don't know, the journey to get to this place, and never thought I'd even see a performance in Madison Square Garden, to be honest. I don't know what's going to take me to MSG.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we're ending out a 15-night residency where they're putting
cool.
up a banner. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell just happened, you know?
I think it's well-deserved, man.
I appreciate
you're really talented, and you clearly work really hard. So, yeah, 100%. How did you end up meeting Harry?
I mean, his management called me. I get a call from his management asking if I wanted to be added to a horn agency. It wasn't specific right up front. It wasn't like, yo, this is for Harry Styles. I did sign an NDA, so we'll have to figure out exactly what can and cannot be on this podcast.
Okay, I can edit it out.
Well,
later.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I get a call. They're like, we're trying to build a horn roster in LA. Do you want to be a part of it? I'm like, yeah, definitely, put me down. I don't want to say I don't live in LA. I'm like, I'll be there for whatever you need, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe a month and a half later, I get a call that's like, cool, gigs come in. We're trying to put horns together for Harry Styles' Coachella performance. They're like, do you want to be the horn arranger? I'm like, can I get back to you on that?
Yeah, that's a commitment.
It's a lot. And this is kind of it was my first experience at such a high level. and being in charge of all of the horn's notes. If I fuck that up, it could be black line from Hollywood in my eyes. So I didn't want to answer immediately. I don't like being put on the spot. So can I call you back? Let me think about this. As soon as I hung up the phone, it was like, do I want to be part of the horn section, or do I want to be the one that's, assigning everyone to different parts and whatnot?
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
Yeah, so I called him back, told him I'd be down, and Coachella was the first performance with Harry and the band, and I thought that would be it. I genuinely thought, like, cool, just go back to Denver, do my thing. And a couple months later, they're like, we're, about to do this massive residency tour across North America. Would you like to be a part of it? And it's just kind of taken off from there.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you're originally from Chicago, right? So
by way of Chicago. So born in Detroit, grew up in Springfield, Illinois, and then went to college in Chicago, where I lived before moving to Denver. So
when did you move to Denver? How long ago?
2018. So pulling up on 6? That's crazy.
Just in time for COVID.
Well, I had a couple good years before. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was on the road a shit ton. I moved here to join a band called the Motet.
Oh, yeah, dude. I didn't know you played with the Motet.
Yeah, they're the reason I moved to Denver.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, their trumpet player, Gabe Mervine, shout out to Gabe, was exiting the band, transitioning into his own career. And, they gave me a call. I was called between a couple different trumpet players. I ended up landing the spot and moved out here January of 2018.
Yeah, I love it here, man. This is a really cool place.
Me too. Denver's great, man. It's gorgeous. Weather's usually great.
You're always getting sun.
Yeah, you're always getting sun.
Vitamin D deficiency here is low.
Yeah,
Not many people get that.
I don't know if you could. They say 300 days of sun. You can Google it. I don't know if you can trust Google or whatever, but the internet nowadays. But
ask Bill Nye.
Bill Nye. Denver gets hella sun. Very friendly people. Very health conscious city.
It is.
Big live music town, so being a live performer is great living here. I feel like it's my main source of income. So living in a town that supports live music as much as Denver does is amazing.
Yeah.
You can play any day of the week here in Denver and people are going to be there. And then also, I love weed.
And you can't get in trouble for it. So.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah,
honestly.
Man. Facts,
yes, sir.
facts.
I agree.
Yeah.
I moved here from Indianapolis. It was a very different story over
Midwest
there.
boys, Midwest.
Like, why are we wasting tax dollars on arresting people for this? Makes no sense at all.
Yeah. Has Indiana done anything to...
Damn you, Harry Onslinger.
Have they done anything to progress towards legalizing marijuana, Indiana?
Not at all.
It's not rec, it's not medical, it's
nothing.
Damn.
I mean, I'm from Ohio originally. I like to say I'm from Ohio because that's my people.
Yeah.
But there it's both now. So
Nice.
I'm pretty sure.
Illinois too.
Yeah.
Like Chicago or in Springfield where my mom lives, you can buy weed in a dispensary.
It might actually, I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm pretty sure Ohio, it's at least medical.
Tight.
It allows, so Ohio, 21 and over, you can buy and possess up to 2.5 ounces.
Oof.
And grow up to 6 plants.
You can only, that's recreationally. Or that's medically, I mean.
I believe this is...
There's no way they're allowing rec folks to buy more
rec.
than... No way. In Ohio, you can buy 2.5 ounces of rec. In Denver, you're only allowed, or in Colorado, I think in general, you're only allowed 1 ounce, which is fine. I don't think you need more than an ounce a day.
Yeah, dude, I'm not. Very rarely am I like, let me buy 2.5 ounces for today.
Well, yeah.
Maybe Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg might be doing that. Goals.
Right now.
Goals.
Yeah, big goals.
Get all my work out of the way, get in that flow state, maybe mess around in the studio, come up with some ideas. Next morning, wake up, hope it was still a good idea. Yeah. So do you record much vocals?
No,
at home?
I don't record. I've never recorded my own vocals once. I'm actually very scared to. I need to ask my homie Lyle on mics and shit.
There's a lot of mics here. I could share a couple with you.
Yeah, I would love that. I record my trumpet all the time. I know how to get it to sound just like I want, but it's very intimidating to record my voice. I also just don't know how to write lyrics at all.
Do you have like a vocal mic of any kind?
No.
No. So this is going to be a shameless plug, just as like a heads up. Like they did sponsor the podcast, but I really love the Pure Tube by Lewitt. You could look it up too. It looks really sexy. It's like a tube mic, but you can actually see the tube. It's in a glass box in the microphone. So you can see it like heating up when you turn it on. It looks crazy. Oh, actually, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's really cool. Like you can see the tube inside of the microphone.
Wow.
And it has like a really tight, warm presence. They made it specifically for vocals. It's like their really nice mic that they have. They're top of the line, the LT 900 or something. I forget what it's called, but it's same mic. They just took out all the fancy knobs on the actual amp that comes with it.
Interesting.
But
I mean, I'd love to give it a
really good vocal mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that thing. But
nice.
Yeah, dude, you should record vocals. You got a great voice. That's all I was trying to say.
No, I will. I mean, you're not the only person that's told me that. And I appreciate everyone that's told me that.
Yeah.
I've just, for a long time, only saw myself as a trumpet player. And within the last year or two, just, I don't know, realized that why not put out everything that I can do? Yeah. I feel like I can sing, so I'm going to try to sing.
Yeah.
And there are people that sing that, I don't know, not to talk shit or whatever, I feel like don't have, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say it. It's just like people sing regardless of their voice type. Like if you're going to sing, people are going to like it or not like it.
It's a weird instrument.
Yeah.
Like the voice is the most vulnerable instrument of any instruments. I would argue that anyway, because it's like when you're singing, it's like a part of you. It's your sound as a person. And so it can feel like intimidating to sing. Because like I grew up singing in choir and like singing in like groups and stuff. And my mom was like a big vocal coach person.
Oh, wow.
But I never sing now. I don't. And it's because I think it's like that like mental block of like, I don't know, because it's dumb. Because like you should never think necessarily about, is somebody going to like this?
That's what my whole block was for the longest time.
Yeah, and I'm still, for whatever reason, I've gotten that out of my head with producing and with every other parts of drumming or whatever.
Right.
But for the voice, it's just different.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't.
I'm trying to break that this year.
Good.
Yeah. I'm just like, my whole philosophy nowadays is like, I don't think about who may not like this anymore. It's more about the people that are going to like my shit. Like my mom. Is my mom going to like this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, if I think about it, my mom's going to like it, we're doing it. My mom would want me to sing. I'm going to go sing. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, dude, sing for your mom.
That's literally it, bro. It's like, yeah,
Mom,
I'm going to sing because my mom would want me to sing. Cheeky reason, but I swear it's like if, you know.
It's a good reason.
Yeah.
It's a good reason, bro.
Yeah.
And she's going to love it. And that's all that matters.
She does.
And if you do it on a stage in front of other people, who cares?
Exactly.
As long as she loves it.
That's my whole philosophy. So as long as my mom digs it, I'm going to continue to do my thing.
I had a mentor once when I was living in New York, and he told me once, he's like, if you're ever nervous on stage, it's because you're being selfish. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, like, because all of your attention's on yourself. Wow. All you can think about is yourself in that moment. And you're not giving, you're not being generous with your gifts to the audience and giving it out for people to experience.
Wow, that's
and
really
I was
deep.
Like, damn, dude, that's good.
Yeah, that is.
Definitely helps me in the moment now
deep.
when I feel like that. Even on this podcast, if I, for whatever reason, I'm feeling anxious that day or whatever, it's like, no, it's really not about me anyway.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, or that, I'm thinking like, everyone's just a normal, awkward ass human. Like, you know what I mean? That's what calms me down. It's like, oh man, sometimes I feel weird about shit. And I'm like, nah, man, everybody's awkward. Everybody's super weird in their own head.
Yeah.
Like, just calm down, do your thing. You know?
Yeah, that's a good mentality.
Yeah, there's not a single person on earth that's not a weird ass, awkward human.
What is normal?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Right.
So, do you have any other tracks that you want to share in here?
Yeah,
I'd be curious to see. Also, another random question, unrelated. Like, when it comes to horns, like, do you have any favorite VSTs for like brass that you found that you like? Because I know you probably record most of it.
Plugins.
Yeah. Like, do you have any like horn plugins that you've discovered that you're like, this sounds pretty good?
No, I don't. Yeah, I've never even looked into them.
Okay.
You know, when I recorded horns for a friend, his name's Alex Breton. He leads a group called the Mile High Club. Signed a Stone Store record. Good homies.
Nice.
Yeah, I recorded horns for him once, and he showed me this really wild plugin that kind of scared me, but at the same time, it wasn't too intimidating. Where, yeah, you kind of tell it what style you want, if you want it to be very percussive, and it'll just punch out these horn lines that are, like, impressive as a section. You
was
can tell
it session horns by
maybe
Contact?
Maybe that's
was it a Native Instruments Contact thing?
It was like years ago.
Okay,
but it was something that like blew my mind. I was like, oh shit, this is like yeah. It was like, okay, if I want it to be percussive and like kind of like neo soul-y vibes, or if I want it to be this and this, and yeah, you kind of click these parameters.
And just like dial it in.
Man, it dials. I don't know if it has an unlimited source of inspiration. I don't know if it has a bunch of pre-recorded lines. I don't know what's driving it to pump these lines out, but it kind of blew my mind. I wish I could tell you which plugin it was. It could be the session horns thing you're speaking of.
Yeah, there's the session horns. There's a lot of different plug. There's East West. They make one. There's a couple different horn ones. A lot of them are like sound design generated.
What does that mean?
It was like basically like you make a waveform to sound like brass with like effects and stuff,
right?
And then you can.
Most of them sound like shit.
Yeah, a lot of them sound fake.
This one in particular was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Because I'm just wondering, like, that would be interesting to learn
how to
multi-sample brass to play back. It's different than just multi-sampling drums or a synth or whatever. Like, I would think, because the tonality, there's so much involved with brass to, like, capture that in multi-sample.
True. And that's why, like, most of the time I hear fake horns, you can tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's why, I mean, as a horn player, I just overdub hella trumpets.
Yeah.
Or flugelhorn or whatever else I can kind of get my hands on. But
the real thing's always better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, except for this thing, man. This thing blew my mind. I mean, I also agree. You can't beat a live horn section.
Because there will never, like, if you record a live horn section, nobody's actually, if they play the same thing, it's not going to sound exactly the same.
Nah. You can, you
can get it pretty close. I mean, there's some really
at
good
some
players.
levels, at the top level, you look at the waveform and
it's a little different.
Dialed in. Nah, they're lined up.
No, I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've played with some really good artists. I mean, like when you capture like the raw audio of something, the tonality, the recording, every little detail is not going to be 100% the exact same. Because you might record with different microphones. You might record with like, somebody's just a little swinging on it or whatever. Like,
right. Well, just good horn sections start and end at the exact same spot. Yeah. Like,
well, for sure.
You know what I mean? And like,
I'm talking about the tonality more of like the recording, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Who would you say are like the baddest people playing horns these days that you've played with?
I mean, Rashawn Ross is like the call. Currently, he plays with Dave Matthews Band.
Oh yeah,
trumpet player for Dave. But I mean, just Lady Gaga, the Grammys. He's like,
he replaced Leroy, right?
Not exactly sure.
Because Leroy passed away, I believe.
Yeah, well, I know that it's Rashawn and Jeff Coffin right now play with Dave Matthews.
Okay.
And yeah, Rashawn Ross is like the trumpet call, basically. I mean, he's a killer. I mean, when we did the recording for Harry, I write a bunch of horn lines for one musician from each section. So we had a saxophone player, an alto, a tenor, a bari, a trombone, and a trumpet. And yeah, we needed to record overdubs for the live performance. Yeah, I gave everyone charts that day, and everyone on the spot plays everything together. I was like very impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just good studio musicians, give them a chart, bring them into the studio, they execute immediately. I always say like being in a horn section is like reciting a speech in tandem, like in harmony, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like you're speaking at the exact same time. You guys need to be doing it at the exact same rhythm and cadence, but you're all harmonized. The horns that I worked with Harry's group, all very, very impressive horn players.
Yeah.
But yeah, the studio musicians that I really look up to are, ones like Rashawn, Keon Harold plays with D'Angelo and Badu, a bunch of the neo soul shit.
Nice.
Chris Dave. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
so when you're like writing out, like, what's your process look like for writing these lines for these shows?
Straight recording first.
Really? Okay.
I never am like writing. Like if someone gives me horn lines and they need me to write horns to them, I need a track. You got to send me a track.
Okay. Yeah.
I listen to the track on repeat and I'll be recording and I'll first sing lines out loud. Yeah, my method is to sing.
Your mom would love
some
that.
sort of she would.
Sure.
I just don't know how to write lyrics, but yeah.
Okay.
My whole method is singing first, and then whatever feels comfortable. You know, if I like singing it, I feel like there's a block sometimes between the horn and my true ideas. So if I don't start on the horn and use my voice to articulate the ideas that are in my head,
Makes sense.
then I'll bring the horn to it.
So you're writing a lot of these from scratch just by singing out the melodies and then tracking them with horns?
Exactly.
Got it.
So I'll sing out the main melody that I hear, and then I'll go to record it, and then I'll sit there with that on loop until I can hear the harmony under it, and then the harmony under that, and generally harmonize it 2 or 3 times, and then I'll write it out if I need to actually write it out for someone. But,
Got it. Yeah, because I didn't know. Like, I feel like it's probably different depending on whoever's like putting it and composing it together.
Absolutely.
Do you like read a lot of sheet music for gigs, or is it mostly just recording,
It's
sending
mostly
to you?
recording. Sometimes people have sheet music. I'm very impressed when people have sheet music. But for the most part, if someone hires me for a gig, like a big gig where it's like 20 songs on the set or whatever, and it's a cover set, say, most of the time I will write my own charts.
Okay.
Just so that I am comfortable on stage. I mean, trying to memorize 20 different songs for a gig is a lot. Don't get me wrong, I know people do it, but to make sure that I'm executing at the level that we need, I always chart out whatever I need to be charted out. So I read charts on most gigs, but not like I'm sight reading them, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know that the process is probably different for a lot of people, you know, as far as like charting that out or like recording.
I always record first and then chart out. Sing, record, chart.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool, man. Actually, also just did a quick Google. I realized that I think Laura Escudé does playback for Harry Styles. She, the lady I told you that, like,
Yeah. In
she
the
runs
beginning, you
Master
talk
Track
about her
and
all the time.
trained me,
Yeah.
And then
I don't know if.
so she has a team. She has a big team
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
playback engineers.
Gotcha. So she's potentially.
Yep. So she runs electronic creatives, and that's her thing. And then I don't know who the playback tech. It might be Greg or AJ or.
I mean, the sound engineers, they were so bad. I mean,
They're like,
there was like the big speakers sound guys. There were the speakers, the in-ear sound dudes. Like,
oh yeah, I mean he's got a team for sure. There's a lot of people involved. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And playback was like, if I'm not mistaken, and again, hopefully this isn't like giving away any information, but playback was like in a truck. So like I rarely saw those guys.
Yeah,
they were like in a big ass truck somewhere backstage,
just running 2 laptops.
Who knows what? I actually never went in the truck. I should have.
Yeah, you should go say hey.
Well, no, I mean, I saw them all the time, and I would go to most people's worlds, most sound, most stations backstage.
Yeah.
Never.
I might know the person running those laptops.
Yeah.
Because redundancy is kind of her thing for like big shows.
Maybe the playback engineer is the guy I was talking about. His name's Snake, is what he goes by. But I don't know if Snake was the playback engineer or what exactly
Snake
his title was, but Snake's the dude that I worked with Harry's team that knows the God Particle very well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Snake.
Yeah, big shout out to Snake.
Yeah,
he's a homie.
Cool.
I believe he was like big speaker playback. I'm not exactly sure there.
I don't know. There's definitely a lot of people.
That was a huge sound team. Yeah.
Have you thought about any kind of production of maybe what you would want someday, like as far as your setup?
If
with
I
the
get to
Parisian?
that point, yeah, man. I mean, gotta hire Snake, obviously.
Get Snake on it.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to get lights incorporated into the show. First thing,
Yeah.
you got to get the visual aspects. I mean, I learned a lot of different things working with Team Harry.
Sure. Yeah.
About how to put on a live performance. Before working with Harry, I was not as interested in the visual aspect of the live performance.
Yeah.
In my mind, you're coming here to listen to this music, not necessarily, you're going to watch a bunch of dudes stand on stage while we play a bunch of music,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really until I got into that world that I really thought like, oh no, people can see you too. Like if you can sell this visual aspect as well, that it boosts the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you're not just a bunch of dudes with jeans on stage, like you know what I mean, just in t-shirts and jeans and flip-flops. Like if you actually put effort into the clothes that you wear while you're on stage, if you try to interact and engage with the audience, all of these different things like lead to real growing a real fan base, like really connecting to fans.
That's good.
And yeah, so I want to bring that aspect to my performance and live show. I need to be wearing very specific things on stage, not just clothes you would see me wearing any other day. And
saw you had some cool jumpsuits that I saw.
Oh man, they had so many different jumpsuits for us.
Nice. Did you get to keep them?
I have one at home.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. They mailed it to me. It was really tight. We're like sponsored by Vans, our shoes. So I had a lot of different pairs of Vans, and I got to keep all my Vans.
Thanks,
I got
Vans.
to keep
I'm
most of my
Vans
shit.
right now.
Hey, shout out to the boys. Yeah, facts.
You see that shoe up there? The shoe in the
shoe
shot.
of choice. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, that was the tour shoe of choice. We had hella Vans. Yeah,
and it's comfy.
They are.
It's got good arch support, too. For all those skateboarders.
Yeah.
Retired skateboarders.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool, man. No, I mean, it sounds like you've had quite a lot of experiences and like really excited for this new stuff. Did you have one more track? I know that
absolutely.
This room's going to be used in about 7 minutes, so we probably have to dip pretty soon.
See. I can show you. It doesn't have any horn. No, I'll show you something with horns on it.
Yeah, dude, give us that horn.
You're right.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
And like right now, I'm writing horn melodies with the thought of writing lyrics to these, but I don't know how to write lyrics, so if anybody wants to help with that.
I have a feeling you probably do. You're just not putting effort into it.
You're right. That's exactly what my homie Lyle said, damn it. That's exactly what Lyle said. He's just like, you just haven't tried.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm feeling right now, honestly.
I'm
guessing that's the case.
I'm just like, man, I've done everything else. I sat here and put all this shit together. I also have to...
You know who else did the same thing? Recess. I don't know if you know Drew.
Yeah, Drew Birch is the
He was
homie.
just on the podcast, and we were at your show, but we didn't know we were both there. And he was on the podcast like the next day, and he's like, I didn't know that like Parris sang like that, dude. He's like, he's got a really beautiful voice. I was like, yeah, me too, dude. Like,
shout out to Drew. I appreciate you. Yeah,
so I'm not the only person.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no. You know, I sit here and I complain about having to do everything, but then this is exactly what I asked for. One. And then also, if I just sit back and think that like Stevie Wonder records every track, he records drums, bass, keys, vocals, all that shit. Let me stop complaining about doing everything.
Yeah. All right, let's hear this track.
Gotcha.
That was dope, dude. I like that. That was a vibe for sure.
Appreciate you.
I feel like I'm drinking like some tequila sitting on a beach. Just like,
I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
With your new cartridge.
Yeah,
Just
you
like
know,
hitting it.
vibes, baby, vibes.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe show real quick because we don't have much time. What's on your horns?
Yes. Let's see, trumpet group. So glue compressor first. It is EQ'd out of the way of the bass, and then I also usually chop shit around 10K-ish, 11K-ish. And then, yeah, OTT. I've got it at 20%. I don't really touch this a whole lot.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly, a lot of times don't either. I'll just dry wet it.
Right. Yeah, so bring the amount to 20%. And then there also should be, reverb, exactly.
Nice.
And I got 25% reverb. I also don't really touch any of the other parameters on this.
Okay.
So I'm like, I can show you like a quick...
You have no delay on there?
Nah, just a little bounce of reverb. So I'll show you the horns by themselves.
Okay. Nice.
Let's see.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds clean.
Thanks. Yeah, I like the OTT helps add that like breathy sound, I guess. I don't really know what it does. Like.
It compresses and brightens a little bit.
Got you.
Basically. I mean, you can make it do different stuff, but
yeah. No, I mean, I use it whenever I throw it on, it adds this nice breathy sound to my trumpets.
Yeah.
And then a touch of reverb, nothing too crazy, and then each one of them has been
Melodyne.
Not even melodyned yet.
Oh,
yeah, sometimes I go through just to make sure, I don't want to send out anything to anyone that is out of tune.
Yeah.
So, I used to say, before I knew about Melodyne, I would sit here, throw the tuner on here, and go through note for note on my trumpets, bro. Very tedious.
It's a lot.
I mean, obviously, I should just play in tune, duh. But trumpet doesn't work that easily. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There are OGs out there that just play in tune all the time.
I mean, you're pretty good.
I try. I appreciate you. Yeah. But some Melodyne on these hoes, and then
makes sense. Well, I see people keep poking their head through that window, being like, "Why are you guys still here?" So we probably need to bounce. I know we started a little late, but dude, thanks for hanging on the podcast,
bro,
man. It's
I
been really good
me.
hanging with you.
Absolutely. Same.
Yeah, maybe have you back in the future once the Parisian's like blowing up and doing a world tour.
I'll come back anytime, my G.
Okay, let's go.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks everybody for listening. Go check out the links in the show notes. Give this man a follow, and we'll see you next time.
Indeed, appreciate y'all. Peace.
Bye-bye. And the stop button. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Do me a huge favor, hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're listening. If you don't hate the podcast, please leave a 5-star review. It would be really helpful to me. If you want to be the first to get new episodes, the latest updates, maybe some free sound libraries or packs or whatever, join the newsletter. Just go to liveproducersonline.com/newsletter or check out the link in the show notes. If you didn't know, you could actually leave your thoughts on this podcast episode and other episodes on Spotify. Just leave a quick comment, let me know what you think, and I will do my best to make this podcast even more awesome. Don't forget to give this guest a follow on the socials, give him some love. Last but not least, I want to give a huge thank you to KMG Life Studios in Denver, Colorado for letting us use their space. And they also have some really cool Ableton live training, lots of good stuff, so check them out. Thanks again for listening to the podcast. We'll see you next time.